Shanti. This Brahmin life is joyous, celebrative, interesting. How it cannot be when God Himself have come down to teach us the art of turning from human to deity, filling our intellect with divine knowledge, teaching us the art of Raj Yoga and making us practice His way. Not just that, He also empowers us to serve humanity. Yes, this life is very special. We never dreamt about it. We never thought about it. But it is happening. And that too, when I am a Brahmin, in this youth age, that is a gift altogether. I have my physical power with my spiritual power working towards New World Order, making of New World Order. And to add flavor to our interesting Brahmin life and to help ourselves with a lot of understanding, this workshop is going to help us. So I welcome each and everyone in behalf of Youth Wing Brahma Kumaris Tamil Nadu for this interesting workshop, Joy of Brahmin Life. Before we start this workshop, I welcome everyone for a minute of silence where we will invoke Bab Dada for this wonderful event. Om Shanti. I have global participants for this workshop. We have Brother Dan from Australia, Sister Susanne from Sweden, Sister Pavitra from South Korea, who are going to have their thoughts getting shared. I always believe the school of thoughts. God, the ocean of knowledge, can give us everything. However, giving experience is something which He can't do, because experience is more of a human thing. Godly knowledge, when digested by a human being, turn as the power of experience. So today we are going to taste the power of experience through these jewels. I am Shivaramakrishnan from Chennai, who will be moderating the whole show. Good wishes guides us a lot. Good wishes becomes the grease to ease the occasion. Good wishes is a gift of humanity. Today, I have Raj Yogini, Sister Beena, the service coordinator of Tamil Nadu zone, who is all the way here to give her good wishes for this wonderful program. Sister Beena is always supporting us in any initiatives we take towards youth empowerment, and I believe that will continue. Thank you, Sister, and it is you now.
Om Shanti. Today we are very privileged to have with us many experienced BK brothers and sisters from worldwide. Dear Divine Brother Dan from Australia, Divine Sister Susanne from Sweden, Divine Sister Pavitra from South Korea, and all brothers and sisters of the Youth Wing Tamil Nadu Zone, greetings of peace from Chennai. We are going to contemplate on the topic Joy of Brahmin Life. Isn't Brahmin life for enjoying? Are we not enjoying our Brahmin life? Yes, we are, but we would like to continue in the same way and share our experiences with each other. That is why we have gathered here today. At this time of global lockdown also, it is very nice that all of us are joining online so that Brahmin life also gets a very global view. Otherwise, it would have been really difficult to have such global programs. I would like to take you down memory lane. I hope all of you will join me. Let's go back many years ago or few years ago. Let us remember the beginning days of our Brahmin life. We all came to Baba, to Brahma Kumaris, maybe through exhibitions, through books, through lectures, or through our family backgrounds. It was all so new, so thrilling, so exciting, so challenging also. It was really the experience of Baba's love. And then came knowledge, peace and power and all connected with it. Visiting the centers, listening to Baba's Murli, doing yoga, Amrut Vela and following all other disciplines, and we set ourselves in the groove of Brahmin life. I hope all of you are traveling with me. Let us visualize, remember the first visit to Madhuban, first meeting with Avyakt Bap Dada, the blessings I received, meeting seniors of the Yajna, filling myself spiritually, and so on. Every year we have been visiting Madhuban and enriching ourselves. Years have gone by. But friends, at this juncture, I would like to share with you few points which I practice in my Brahmin life. Maybe all of you are also practicing, but let's be practical. I have always kept an aim that I should be focused on Baba and my goal. Let's also look at our Brahmin life from a different angle. Let us see on the screen of my mind and intellect. First, it was only Baba, Baba's love, filling my hearts and minds. Then slowly, the instrument souls of Baba, the members of Brahmin family, my friends, all came up on the mind, on the screen of my mind. Baba is also there, but one along with all of these. Sometimes I am focused on Baba 100%, sometimes it's half and half. I have Baba with me also, but then I remember all my friends and members of the Brahmin family also. Yes, that is also equally important because man is a social being. But mentally being focused on my goal in life is very, very important. And I have paid attention on this very much in my 40 years of Brahmin life. I taken the support of Murlis, reading Avyakta Murlis daily, listening to different classes, always be on the go, so that the intellect has something new to churn upon. Even in times of difficult challenges, I have kept attention that my sharings are only with Baba. And I should say that I am very privileged. I have been very close to the seniors, dadis, and brothers of the Yajna, Baba's instruments at different places, always receiving blessings. Baba also says our Brahmin life should be like a flowing river. I should not stop anywhere. I should not get blocked anywhere. There should be no stagnation in my Brahmin life. The enthusiasm should go on increasing day by day. And I have taken really precautions that my enthusiasm remains and I keep on flowing in my Brahmin life. Today's Baba's Avyakta Murli has remembered us as shining stars of Baba's galaxy. Yes, we are stars of success. We are the children who are going to glorify Baba with our face, our vibrations, and our lifestyles. Yes, brothers and sisters, divine friends, let us take up a determined thought today that we will surely fulfill Baba's expectations and we will become stars of success and set an example before all. Let us follow and bring into practice all of Baba's teachings. I would like to wish each one of you, each one of the Brahmins, I should say, let us live a long, enjoyable Brahmin life. Om Shanti. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Beena. It was amazing and heartfelt.
First question goes to Brother Dan. Brother Dan have completed his degree of LLB, BA Hons, BCom from Otago University, and he have did his career path is huge. However, this noble soul have decided to give up his life for the noble cause of world transformation. Now, for past 18 years, he is associated with the Brahma Kumaris family, and currently he is living in the center of Sydney and he is serving the unlimited service. Welcome, brother. Chennai family, Tamil Nadu family is very happy meeting you. The question to you, brother. What do you think is joy of Brahmin life? What do you do to make your life interesting? What is joy for you in this Brahmin life? Over to you.
Great. Thank you so much, Shivram, for your sweet introduction. And it's nice to be here with the Chennai family online. Actually, I don't feel like I've given up my life or given up anything, because to have a life with Baba is a life of attainment. And so actually I'm getting more. And that's the reason why I've made the decisions I made. I didn't lose anything or become less. I received more. And for me, that's a key part of the joy of this spiritual life, is that I need to work it in such a way that I feel that I get benefit and that I'm receiving something from it. Otherwise, to be honest, why would we bother, right? It should be enjoyable and it should be beneficial. Otherwise, I really need to talk to someone and ask, what it is that I'm not doing right. Because I feel if we're not experiencing joy and getting benefit out of it, then I've misunderstood something. Because the understanding, the spiritual wisdom is very clear, and the procedure or the steps to get the benefits are also quite clear. So really it's just up to us for how we understand and implement that, because sometimes if we haven't understood properly, then it's true, we can actually create misery for ourselves. And we may then attribute that to the path, but actually it's our misunderstanding of how to walk the path. Because the path, as Shivram was saying, is actually a very joyful one. And for me at the moment, because if you asked me 5 years ago and 10 years ago and 15 years ago, I would have given different answers. But my understanding has changed over time, and my life experiences within the path have also changed my understanding. But at the moment, for me, the thing that brings me a lot of joy is having a natural and balanced life. So, it's good to keep everything in balance, because life is a long time. It's not a hobby or a recreation or an activity. It's my life. So it should be balanced. Then it's easy to sustain something which is in harmony and equilibrium. If I'm too extreme on anything, then I get out of balance, and then I'll have some difficulty. Whereas if everything's running in a nice balance, then I have the best chance for enjoying that. So a life of balance. Thank you.
Thanks, Brother Dan. You made it very clear, like life is not a hobby. Life is life. You need to live it. Thanks for that. And also thanks for teaching us the art of balancing. I believe we need to do it. And Baba is teaching us the same. Our next star in the panel is Sister Susanne.
A very brief introduction about Sister Susanne. So she's practicing and teaching Raj Yoga meditation for the past 11 years. So she is a facilitator at Brahma Kumaris International Young Adult Forum. Is an all-rounder server at Stockholm Main Center, and are also involved in Brahma Kumaris Environment Initiative. So apart from that, Sister works as a team leader and accountant assistant in a global company. So nothing stops there. Nothing stops her to teach and guide people meditation only. Welcome you, Sister. And before I give a question to her, one thing I really need to say about these people, which always Baba says. These sisters go to work, manage their financial things, also run the center. So, applause to you. The same question to you, Sister. What do you think is the joy of Brahmin life? And what you do to make your life interesting? What you do to make your life interesting? Over to you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for being with all of you today. It's very nice to connect in this way. For me, actually, I resonate a lot with what you were sharing, Dan. And when I was reflecting before this program, the word balance came a lot to my mind. And so it's interesting that you took it up. And I feel also for me that joy in life comes when I take care of myself, and when I do good actions, and when I make sure that my practical life is balanced, and that I am really present in it, that I do things from my heart and not just out of routine or because somebody has told that or something like that, but that I really feel this connection inside when I do even small acts during everyday things. And I feel a lot of joy also. It's very special with this family of ours that we are connected on a subtle level. So even though for me I live up in the north of Europe and the BK family here is rather small, but to be aware of and to feel the connection with the larger family, even though we don't meet that often physically, I feel that's a great joy, and it creates this feeling of belonging and connectedness. And also I feel joy comes when I have the conversation with myself and with Baba. And when in our study, when I am active and honest in my own conversation, and then the feeling of his guidance and how that is like evolving during the years. And I think really this is also a life where it's not stagnant or the same all the time, but it's really about the longer I am in it and the more I explore it, I get to know myself and I understand more, and it opens up new perspectives. And these learnings and breakthroughs are creates happiness inside, and I feel this is what it all is all about. And also, I just want to mention one more thing, that I really love also to create these spaces, like to be in nature and to just to make sure that I am present in nature and take part of that, because during our whole life we are also in close relationship with nature. So I think that is also very important. Thank you.
Thank you, sister. The art of communication. I need to give time for myself. If I'm not giving, who else will give? Thank you for that. Thanks for the clarity. The next angel for whom the question goes is Sister Pavitra. How is this? Someone from Korea gets the name Pavitra? Interesting, right? So her name is Bora, but Baba gave her the name. Baba's instrument gave her the name Pavitra. So she is the center coordinator of Busan, South Korea. In Gyan for past 13 years, and she got the Gyan from Frankfurt Center, Germany. So she's been serving in Baba centers of different part of the globe, and she completed her diploma in public official, and she is working in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of South Korea for past 6 years. So to you, Sister Pavitra, what do you think is the joy of Brahmin life, and what you do to make your life interesting?
Thank you, Brother Shivaram, and hello everyone who are listening this program. Thank you so much for the invitation. For me, Brahmin life was not a choice or an option of lifestyle, but I felt it is my dharma. So therefore, definitely there is an immense joy of living this authentic life, the life which I was seeking for a long time, from my 11 years old. So it took about 15 years to find it. So imagine how happy I am. And there are two things that I'm doing to make my Brahmin life interesting. First one is to learn about myself and really to know about God. When I find myself that I become free from old habit, from the old thinking pattern, especially old belief, and also bhakti sanskaras from my past birth, I find this study is really, really interesting. And second one is to be in the gathering of Brahmin family, like a retreat or being together in Madhuban, or like today. So I feel my intoxication goes up and up when I'm with long lost and now found my brothers and sisters together. So I think I merged into pure and spiritual atmosphere when I'm in the gathering. So thank you again so much for the invitation.
Thank you, Sister Pavitra. It was amazing to know your view for this answer. Yes, it is going to help us. The next question is over to Brother Dan. You know, Brother Dan coordinates youth services in Australia. So, as I said already, he came to Chennai on a youth workshop.
And you know, something interesting about brothers Dan and Sister Susanne is they have visited India, Chennai, and they have conducted a wonderful youth retreat, if I'm not wrong, 2 years before, correct? And that retreat still stay in the heart of a people, and the activities what went in that retreat is still continuing in many centers. So thanks for that. And Brother Dan, another question. You know, you see sometimes youth miss their dinacharya, daily routine. And the guilt of missing Amrit Vela or Murli, you know, that kills the joy of this wonderful life for the whole day. So how to overcome it? From your personal experience, like yes, niyam, dharana is very important, but sometimes I miss it. What I can do? Over to you.
Okay, thank you. There's a few things I think on this point, because usually what happens when we have a challenge with our morning routine, it's not really about the morning routine, it's about the night before routine. That's the problem. So, if I'm going to bed really late, then actually I shouldn't expect that I'm going to wake up really early. It's not sensible. And rather than focusing so much on the time that I woke up, I should focus on getting to bed at a good time regularly, and also as much as possible structuring my evenings so that I can get to bed on time, so that I can get to sleep in a good time, not having things playing on my mind at night time so that I can't sleep or whatever might be disturbing me. Then I find the morning is actually not that big a deal. Really, we know roughly how much sleep we need, right? We have routines. Our bodies are different. Some people maybe 5 hours, other people maybe 8 hours, but we know how much we need. So actually, I will know the night before, really, if I'm going to be able to wake up or not. The writing's already on the wall. So it's not a big surprise usually if we miss our timing. But then it does happen to all of us, hopefully not he. But when it does happen, I think to become, disturbed about that is the second mistake. So if I make one mistake, why would I then make 2 mistakes and then 3 mistakes by going on and on about it in my mind? It's pointless, right? One is enough. So then don't make the second and the third by thinking about it or feeling guilty about it. It's drama. So it's drama, who cares? Just get on with your day and try not to repeat it tomorrow. Have the thought that I'll make sure I get to bed early the next night so that I don't repeat that mistake. But I think, to beat ourselves up, to give ourselves a hard time, it's not going to help me achieve what I want to achieve. So I need to be compassionate with myself, be merciful with myself. And, in some ways, I think the more jnani the soul is, the faster they will move onto the rails of drama and let go of the past. If I'm not that jnani, then I'll go on and on about the past. Really, the point of drama should be quite pakka. So really, it's drama. My mistakes, other people's mistakes, we have to move on, not keep holding on to them. It doesn't help us or other people. So that's my feelings. Om Shanti.
Now the next question is for Sister Susanne. Sister, Baba always speaks about faithful intellect, faith on drama, faith on family. What is your understanding and experience about this?
Okay, thank you. I think about faith is a very deep question, I feel. But I think one thing that I thought about is this sentence that Baba says sometimes, that drama is beneficial, that there is benefit in everything. And I feel it's a lot about listening and to see not just the obvious and not just what is in front of my physical eyes, and then create thoughts about that, because then, we can go on forever and it doesn't lead anywhere. But it's really about seeing beyond the obvious and focusing on my own practice, but also on creating good relationships, and knowing where I'm going. So to be clear about my aim and why I'm here. And I think for me, many times, like in my practical life, it has helped me when I stop and I observe and I listen in or become receptive and open to the signals in the drama in a certain situation, instead of like starting to doubt the benefit of something. And I know that just this year, for example, I can share one situation. It's connected with work, but I was thinking, like, should I move on and apply for another job or start studying or something like that. Those thoughts were in my mind for different reasons. And this was in the beginning of the year. And then I had an opportunity to talk with my manager, and I decided to be open and share the feeling I had. And because I felt that there was not so much space for personal growth where I was at that point. And then I, in that meeting, there was a very clear sense that just stay and stay there. And I decided to trust that instead of acting on my more superficial feelings. And then 1 month later, Corona started. And then I just felt so happy that I didn't change a lot of things in my life at that point, and that I stayed. And then a few months after that, I was promoted into a new role, which actually fulfilled that feeling of growth. And so this was for me just one little example of faith in the drama, and to listen to signals and trust, and not just act out of a lot of thoughts in my mind, because I feel it's important to make sure I enter these spaces of silence inside before, for example, before I take decisions. And about faith, having a faith to Baba, I feel the same. It's like, I mean, it's about the relationship with him, and which is, of course, something that grows over time, and it's something very personal. But I feel it's like when we go through things in the spiritual life, it's about knowing that he is there, and even if I sometimes can't feel it, I know he's there, and to trust it. And when I act with honesty and do the best I can, there will always be cooperation and guidance and support from him, and that is truly my experience so many times. So I think many times it comes back to creating that space inside myself of honesty, of presence, of stillness, so that I can see where I'm going and how I should act. And then maybe I should say something also about faith in the family. I mean, it's also a deep topic, but I think it's often about, again, not judging anybody or just seeing what is going on the surface sometimes, but really to see everybody as a divine being and as my brother's soul, and to practicing what we learn, to practicing seeing the virtues. And I think when I also do that with myself and strengthen my own self-respect, then naturally it will be much easier to have the same view with others, and especially if something is challenging sometimes, so that when I care and have compassion for my own self, I will also have that with others, instead of focusing on what others are doing and not doing, but to trust that everything is good and everything as it is supposed to be, and there is benefit and I can always learn something. And if that is my attitude of learning, then it doesn't really matter, the situations externally, but I'm focused on the inner journey. Thank you.
Thank you, sister. It was wonderful explanation, and yes, everything is very much practical. Once again, I go to Brother Dan. Brother Dan, with the same question. Faith on Baba, faith on family, faith on Brahma. How do you practice it? What do you do to exhibit your faith on Baba, on this family?
I loved what Susanne was sharing. At that time, I was also feeling like, with the Brahmin family, like when you introduced it, Shiv Ram, about having, we will have so much faith in Baba, then actually, who chose the Brahmin family? So I should also have faith in his selection, right? Otherwise, what? I have faith in Baba, but I don't have faith in who he chooses. It's not adding up, right? There's a gap there. Really, if there's faith in Baba, I also need to understand that he has chosen, and is my intellect better than his? That my judgment is better than Baba? He needs me to help him, or sorry, Baba, get rid of that one. I know better than you. You've made a mistake. No, that's not faith in Baba. So actually, faith in Baba is also to have faith in the BK family. And it's not like blind faith, but actually really, if I understand knowledge, then I feel like the third eye has opened for souls. That's how we recognize Baba. People can't come onto this path unless there hasn't been some experience, some recognition, something awakened inside of them. And so that's outside of our control. Just have to understand that it's there. Otherwise, there are so many souls in the world. Not many are actually being attracted to this path. It's only those souls who actually have something inside their DNA that resonates with the vibrations of Baba's house, of Baba's knowledge, of the purity of the BK family. And when they come into that atmosphere, it's going to trigger something in them that will start to pull them onto this path. Otherwise, they will be as if we're invisible. It's like for people who are completely body conscious, the Brahma Kumaris don't exist for them. It's not part of their life, and it will never be part of their life, and it's not meant to be part of their life, because this isn't the path for everyone. That's how I feel about faith in Baba and faith in the family.
Thanks, Brother Dan. It was amazing. My next question is to Sister Pavitra. Sister Pavitra, I refer Baba's Murli point. He always says this, at least for Bharatvasis who are living in India, we have some residuals of Vedas, Shastras, whatever the divine culture comes in any other form. But for you people, it is not the way. It was completely different. So, which understanding of Gyan broke all the barriers and made you Baba's child? Can you explain it?
Yeah. To say conclusion, it was easy for me, but I'd like to share my story if you all agree. As I responded to the prior question, I was looking for this life from my 11 years old. I really want to know who am I, but no one can respond me at that time. I was a bit different person. I was quite quiet and introspective person when I was student. And I used to feel I'm a bit different from my colleagues of school. So I was looking for this life. And suddenly my mother became Brahmin. She took Gyan before me. And at that time, I was working for the Lufthansa, living in Germany. I was 26. And then at that time, I was already vegetarian, and I was practicing yoga and some meditation, but still I was feeling this, desire to know who am I. And then I called my mother and said, "Mommy, I don't want to live anymore this life." And she said, "Maybe my daughter, you can go to center, Brahma Kumaris Center, which is located in Frankfurt, and maybe you can take Raja Yoga course." So I went to Frankfurt Center. I met the sister from England, and I met Sudesh Didi there. So I took Gyan there. And amazingly, after 1 week of Raja Yoga course, I was walking on the street of Frankfurt city, and suddenly I felt lots of happiness. And I was asking to myself, what is happening for me? And then the sister who was giving me the course, she took me to England, to the Cambridge Center, because I couldn't speak German. So I listened morely there. And then I met Daddy Janki, I saw Sister Jayanti, and so on. Everything happened at the same time. So when I was really took the set of Gyan, Mariadas, and all Shurimats, I felt like this is really for me. This is ready-made for me. So I didn't have any difficulty to follow Brahmacharya. But I have to say, living in the Korea and being as an instrument for Baba service, of course, we have a lot of difference between culture from India and this country, and we really sometimes feel difficulty because I'm living in the center, but we are still having contact with our local family, working in the company, so we need to deal with this different lifestyle. So I'm learning how to deal with this kind of barrier, but I have to say, to be a Baba's child, it was my destiny, and it was not so difficult. Om Shanti.
My question is to Sister Susanne now. Sister, how Baba came in your life? How you got Baba? How you experienced Baba? Or how all these things happened? Like, what happened where you at last came to your destination? Can you please say about it?
Thank you for the question. For me, I was 22, and I was like before, I was just living ordinary life like that. But some years before, I started to feel longing for deeper meaning and a sense of purpose in my life, and like to have happiness, true happiness in my relationships. And so I was, for about a year or so before I came to the center, I was searching and visiting different yoga schools in Sweden. And I was practicing some yoga, and I tried some meditation and yeah, like that. But, and I got some insights and so on, but I felt that there was like in my heart, it didn't satisfy my heart, in the sense that I felt what they talked about and what I could feel was practiced was not the same. And so there was something missing, and I didn't resonate. I felt I couldn't, give my life to this, or really, do this completely. And so I continued to look and search for, I actually didn't know exactly what I was looking for, but there was just this deep feeling inside. And my friends around me, they, got married or started their studies and things like that. And I felt like, what's there for me? That's maybe not my path. And so I remember there was one moment when I was about to move, or I had to move, but I didn't know where. And I just stopped everything, and I felt, whatever there is next, I'm ready to do anything for it. But I just didn't know what it was. But that was the feeling I had inside, the longing in the soul for meaning and purpose and happiness. And then it was a friend to me who I was practicing this Hatha Yoga with. And she gave me an article about the Brahma Kumaris in some health magazine, I think it was. And I read it, and I felt, I have to go there. And I just wanted to find out, what is this? Maybe this is the thing I'm looking for. And then I came up to Stockholm, because I was living in another part of Sweden at that time. And I came up to Stockholm, and I visited this. I went to the center, but then it was closed. But anyways, some things happened, and then I came back. And a few weeks later, I came back, and I took the course. And I felt also that there was like pieces in a puzzle that came together, and I started to understand myself in a new way. And every time I had been to the center, there was this huge happiness inside coming from, I don't know. And actually at the same time, I was doing a course, or not a course, but I was going to a Christian group at the school where I was doing a course. And I was listening to them, and they were asking many questions, but I felt they never had answers in a satisfying way for me, and there was always more questions or doubtful things about what was taking up. And I didn't really like this prayer thing loudly and so on. But when I came to the center, and there was this deep silence, and I experienced, I had experiences in meditation, and I felt there was like a knowing that came inside, that this is it, this is where I belong.
And you're there, very much here. Thank you, sister. Okay, my question is to Brother Dan now. Brother Dan, being a Kumar is a boon, right? What do you think? Yes, being a Kumar is a blessings. But what do you think, like, role of a Kumar in Yajna at this point of time? Seeing the closeness of the time, seeing whatever is happening around us, what do you think is a role of a perfect Kumar in the Yajna? Can you say your thoughts on it?
Well, the sisters always need someone to move the furniture. The Brahma Kumaris, we have lots of programs and furniture. So the role of Kumar is to make sure the furniture can be moved in the center, and then we put it back afterwards as well. But apart from the joy of this international role, because I find that's true for the Kumars in every country, it's a very fortunate life, because basically to have no bondages means that you have a real opportunity to do so much in Baba's service and to really race ahead in your spiritual life. I think, Kumars do have their challenges and their doubts, and I think in India especially the family pressures as well. But I think it's really, the world has changed so much, and it's not the time for just doing what our parents did. Like, come on, wake up. There's 7 billion people. We're hardly going to have a green planet. Even leave aside Gyan. We're inheriting a planet which is half destroyed by the previous generation. Why would you think that you need to just keep on doing the things that your parents and your parents' parents did? No, not at all. There's enough children on the earth. We don't need to create more. So why waste your time doing that? really, you've got a golden opportunity to have a connection and a relationship with God. You know, when the heart to other relationships, then we can't connect as much as we can to Baba when the heart is open and available for one. So really, in that way, we have such a golden opportunity to enjoy the attainment and the love, the connection to Shiv Baba. So I hope those enjoying their BK life take that opportunity and really get the most out of it, because you're very lucky souls. Thank you.
So do you say just to enjoy the role of a Kumar? You don't have any other role?
Just to enjoy. This is a life of joy. But there's no at least for me, gender, whatever, can be Kumar, can be Kumari. At least as I'm taking the question, is it's like, we don't have any thing that is interfering in our spiritual path. Like if I have responsibilities, it's really my karma that I must take care of the things which are my responsibility. But if I'm quite free from having responsibilities, really I can give my life for Baba, I can do service full time. Or I can be trusty, I can be very surrendered. I go with my job and look after my life as if my life is Baba's yagya. For me, both are equal actually. There are many trustees who go far ahead of those who are, surrendered. And there are those who are surrendered who are like way behind the trustees. It's all about the quality of our consciousness. So for me, that's the main focus. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Brother Dan. Now my question is to Sister Pavitra. Sister Pavitra, now it is the same. However, what is the role of a Kumari in Yajna? Baba always praise Kumari. Baba always say hi. Baba always have high count for Kumari. So what do you think is the role of a Kumari in Yajna at this point of time?
At this moment, my role in the center to care for the center. And one thing I realized that to really care for the Baba Center is to be a mother. And one thing is very interesting is that most of BKs of our centers are mothers. And I'm youngest one of the whole family. So it is quite funny that I do the role as a mother, but I'm learning how to care for everyone. And also as a Kumari for the word service, I feel that I have to be Shiv Shakti, means fearless, especially at this moment. And especially, I really think about service for North Korea, as we talked about a little bit before this program. North Korea is a country where no freedom of religion. And we South Korean are not permitted to enter to North Korea, and the situation is quite dangerous. But as we have online facilities and different way of doing service, I'm really thinking to something for Baba as a Kumari, as a Shiv Shakti, without fear, without thinking something happened wrong. But I feel like I have to do something. I have to start something. If I take one step, I feel like Baba will help 1,000 steps. Om Shanti.
Now it's my question to Sister Susanne. Sister, how do you manage conflicts within the family? When it's a family of 4, we have at least 400 conflicts. Now when the family size is 400, the size of conflicts multifold. So how do we manage conflicts within this Brahmin family? Can you throw light on it?
I think it really depends on what relationship it is and what the situation is. And if it is something going on where I am not involved or where I am personally involved. This I can share one experience I had where I had to act or what I did, and this was a soul where there was a lot of passive anger and a rather dominating attitude in communication and so on. And first I just tried to be calm and like tolerating and not doing anything, but just like being kind and like that. And and then I was also asking myself, like, is there anything in this that I need to change in myself? Because this is something, I mean, I think when there is challenges in relationships, it's always important to ask myself what is my part, and can I do something differently, or what am I supposed to learn in this? And so I was asking myself this question, and then the answer that came to me was to strengthen my own self-respect, and actually not to, I felt I needed the power to face rather than the power to tolerate. So there was also that understanding that maybe wasn't right for me. And so what I did was that I started to visualize in meditation how I wanted our interaction to be, and I did for that for some time, and because I met with this person regularly, there was, I mean, of course, many situations to practice in, and for some time I felt I didn't like have the courage to be different, or I felt I went down into the same behavior. But then, because I continued to just look at myself and do my own inner work, there was one day when a similar situation came up again with this behavior, and I didn't think, but I afterwards I looked back and I saw that I was in my self-respect in a very natural way. And then instead of just what I did was that I became more assertive. So I just asked her kindly to stop behaving in that way towards me. But because I didn't have any emotions around it, I didn't have any negative feeling for her, but I was just in my self-respect. She took it and she actually stopped. And from then, she didn't say anything. But since then, there has never been this problem. And the dynamic in this relationship shifted. And we are working together, and there has been like a mutual respect and trust that has built up even more. So it's very beautiful to see how something that I thought of, like, oh, this relationship is challenging and this person is challenging, that even that attitude from my side was not right. But when I worked on my own self then and shifted my own awareness of where I was coming from and strengthening myself, then she also had to change because I was acting in a different way. And I think it's actually a lot about attitude and more about the subtle, about energy when there are these situations. But what I learned from this was not to have any expectation on the other person to change, but really to just take responsibility for my own self and do my own inner work. and then the importance of having a clean heart, and also to think about the right. So I have a right to say something. I have a right to set a boundary if I need to, and then not to be afraid of it, but to do it with respect for myself and the other. So yeah, that was just one example.
Whatever the conflict is, self-respect plays its role. So yes, self-respect have its role important in handling conflicts within the family. Thank you, sister. Now it's my question to Brother Dan. Brother Dan, for a Brahmin soul who have, Baba always say, lost and found, we have got him after 5,000 years, a kalpa. So for any Brahmin soul with basic understanding of knowledge, Prabhu Milan becomes very important. Meeting God, meeting divine. So can I ask you, brother, can you share me your experience with divine? How was your Mangal Milan was with Baba? The first experience in Madhuban with Baba.
Oh, wow. So the first meeting with Bab Dada, I mean, I'm not sure, because perhaps you thought I might talk about going to Madhuban, but for me, the first meeting with Baba was in Dunedin in New Zealand, where I took spiritual birth. And I really feel like those personal meetings with Baba started there. And that's what really attracted me, was the love and the feelings that I was getting from Baba in meditation at that time. So maybe I am thinking of two experiences. So one experience in the center where I was, actually I wasn't having that much confidence in knowledge at that time. I had just completed the meditation course, and really everything that they taught me was quite different from my current beliefs. Studying law and philosophy at university, it's pretty materialistic. It's pretty body conscious understanding of the world, and then to get all this Brahma Kumaris, soul, God, Lakshmi Narayan, golden age. And to be honest, I thought it was kind of a bit of a childish fairy tale. I thought you'd have to be pretty dumb to believe all of that. So that was the context. But in my mind, one morning in meditation, I was still doing my mantra meditation. And as those who have done mantra meditation will know, it's a bit boring. So doing my mantra in my mind with my eyes closed. So I eventually got bored, and I opened my eyes, and Brahma Baba's picture was in front of me in the center. And then in my mind, I said to that picture, "Oh, and what's your photo doing there? Some old man. I don't want some guru. What is this anyway?" So I was sort of thinking, what am I even doing here? And then this blue light started to come out from the eyes, that photo, and it just started to sort of wash over me. And actually, at first, I was quite scared because it was a bit shocking, like, what's happening? I haven't experienced anything like that. And, even according to my body conscious worldview, I couldn't explain how that could happen. How can I see a light? There's no light, what's going on? But the love and the pure feelings that were just washing across me at that time were so good, and it just made me feel so fantastic inside. And that love, that energy, it doesn't come from a chair or a stone. It's from a living being. And for me, that's my first meeting with Bap Dada. And through that photo of that old man, Brahma Baba, and that really, from then I started to challenge myself that whatever I may think I know about the world, I may not be right. And just because people have taught me, who taught them? It's all just the gossip of human beings talking to each other. And so I was feeling like I really need to give the knowledge that's being taught here a chance, because there's something happening that I can't explain. And I want to understand what this is about. And from that moment on, I became much more sincere in my commitment to this path, or my wish to really understand the knowledge that's being taught here. I think before that, I was, in the more of just that ego brain, where we think, especially when we're young, we feel I already know everything, or at least I know a lot. Or I feel like, yeah, I've heard this before, because we've heard some of that information in different places, but we don't realize that the meaning behind it here is completely different. Thinking we've heard it before is actually like a block to learning. So that experience with meeting Baba really opened my mind up to understand what is being taught. Thank you, Om Shanti.
Now my question is to Sister Pavitra. Sister Pavitra, can you share with us your first Prabhu Milan experience? Same question, but yes, it has its dynamically different approach for people to people. How was your first Prabhu Milan, Sister Pavitra?
Thank you, Shivarambai. Actually, my experience was in Madhuban. I have two special experiences when I visited Madhuban as a first-timer. The first one is a special yoga experience. I was attending to one lecture, and at the end of the lecture, one sister came to guide meditation. And at that time, I was meditating, and I felt some very strong vibration was beating my whole body. I was surprised, and very strong wave also coming to me. And then I entered to the scene of Krishna was born. And I felt lots of love and pure feelings, which I was never experienced in my life. So it was so special. So when meditation have ended, I found myself was crying. And then I went to the Baba's room, which located in the top of Gyan Sarovar. And in front of Brahma Baba's picture, I cried for 3 hours, talking to him, why you found me so late. So that was really a special experience. It seems like a bit trance, but I found it like a bit near death experience, because after that my life has changed dramatically. And second experience is really meeting with Bab Dada. At that time, double foreigner were allowed to go up to the stage and take a short drishti from Bab Dada. And at that time, I was wearing sari as the first time, and I decorated my hair with the flowers like a bride of God. And I was, wow, and my heart was beating. And when I went in front of Bab Dada, I saw Baba winked me like this. And also he said to me, of course, I was listening inside of my mind, and Baba was in silence physically, but I was listening through my mind. Baba said to me, my daughter, you will achieve whatever you want in your life. So that was Baba's blessing for me. So these two are special experience.
Thank you, sister. Being a bride of him is a great experience. It's very heartful, but experiencing Baba as my bridegroom. Wow, it's wonderful. Thank you, sister. Now my question is for Sister Susanne. How was your first Prabhu Milan, sister? Can you please explain us how was it?
Om Shanti. I first like to share another experience before that, if it's okay. It was also very much in the beginning when I took the course, and I think it's like, because it is something subtle and personal, it's to trust what you experience. For me, that was, or how can I say, like in the beginning when I sat in the center, I projected my experience, like I thought it was because the others were there, I was experiencing something extraordinary. And then the same thing happened again when there was just me and one other person at the center sitting for meditation. And I had this special experience or feeling of a presence. And I thought again, but it's because she is sitting there that I experience this. And then there was some days or some time after that when I had a similar experience again, but then I was just at the place where I was living at that time on my own. And then I thought, wow, this is not just me, but this is someone more greater, much more greater than me. And I felt really this beautiful presence of Shiv Baba. And I think then when I came to Madhuban sometime after, one thing that I experienced very much was Baba's drishti and how he saw the soul, and this very subtle, quiet confirmation that I see you and I'm here. And for me, it was not like big lights or anything like that, but it was just this very deep confirmation in the heart that I'm here. And and also many things that he was saying that time in the Murli that has stayed with me many times on this journey. Thank you.
Thank you for all the three. You all took us to the place of Baba's ecstasy, where we could see how Baba touched each of his child in his own way, and he does it. Baba touch each of his child in the way they want and he want. Thanks for the wonderful experiences. My next question is to Brother Dan. Yes, when we were introducing you, we said Brother Dan is living in center. Okay, he is completely a surrendered instrument of Baba, and he is taking care of services of center in Sydney. Now my question is, what made you surrender yourself completely to godly service? What made you to think or decide, I need to give myself to Baba with all my means? And there the question doesn't end. What quality or dharana you believe is very important to make this Sampurna Samarpan life joyful? Can you put light on it?
Well, I think the first thing for me is, I think within the BK life, we have a little bit of body consciousness in our family around what the word surrender means. I don't want to discourage anyone from increasing their commitment to BK life. Obviously, I think it's good to be involved and do more service if you have capacity and time. However, I don't feel like, being full-time in service is really the definition of surrender. I feel surrender is something internal, and it's not just like not having a job or being full-time in service. I know some people who their quality of surrender is higher than mine, and they are working. And I know people who can be in a center and their quality of surrender is something not that great. So I feel that, we shouldn't get caught up too much on the external aspect of how we look at it. The internal aspect is the primary thing. Some people, wherever they go, they turn their home into Baba's center, and some people can go into a center and turn it into their Lokik home, if you get what I mean. So I really think it's all about consciousness and the qualities that we bring into the space based on the sort of character that we have. And that's really connected, I think, to the next question which you've asked, which is to do with, what's the main dharana that we need, which is this dharana of surrender and instrument consciousness. Whoever I am, wherever I am, whatever I am doing, I belong to God. I belong to Bap Dada. And if that is beating in my heart, then, the external environment doesn't determine the sort of consciousness that I have. And in some ways, when that becomes more and more strong in our lives, then it will create a shift externally as well, because Baba will want to use us more and more in service. But every different place has its different needs, and Baba needs everyone's part to make the yagya run. So it's not that being full-time in a center is not superior. In my opinion, it's not. Because Baba needs everyone. Baba needs married couples to show that, that cotton and fire will, as he says in the Murli, can stay together, to demonstrate the practical power of purity. Baba needs Kumaris. Baba needs the elderly. Baba needs children, because it's also a family path. And so through each one, he uses us and our specialities to reveal him and to reveal the power of the knowledge that he's teaching. So for me, this is the things which that question brought out. I hope people, take what I'm saying in good spirit, because it may be a little bit different to sometimes the way what we're taught to think. Om Shanti.
Thanks, Brother Dan. My next question is to Sister Pavitra. Sister Pavitra, we never thought the before day, but the next day it was pandemic. Everything got shut off. Everything went for an off. Everything. When I say everything, centers, service, everything. Everyone were drowning back in their worries. However, Baba's children start to celebrate. Now my question is, how do you use this pandemic situation to enhance your efforts? What you made, what plan you made to improve your effort in this adverse situation?
Yeah, thank you. There are two things that I'm doing at this moment as my brushart. First one is really healing myself. I'm focusing on to find any wound or unresolved emotions inside of me, because I know this really makes things difficult. And I feel that there are things are accumulated inside of me during 63 births. And I feel like I have to accept these emotions and any on the inside. And I really heal myself through Baba's power. And I think this healed energy can heal others too. So I'm really focused on that. And second thing is really to help sustenance of the BK family in Korea. We are arranging seniors classes and meetings and online meditation together in the evening and in the morning together. And one thing especially what I'm doing is reading Avyakt Molli every night for the Korean family. So it is being good service seva for me, and I hope that it is good for the family too. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Sister Pavitra. My next question is to Sister Susanne. Sister, always Baba says laziness and carelessness are twin weakness. You know, they come together and it spoil every of the speciality a Brahmin carry. So, how do you overcome it in your life, and what is your approach towards it? How do you see it?
Shanti. I think, whatever vice or weakness there is, I think the first thing is to define it so that I know what it is and recognize, okay, this is carelessness or this is laziness. And then, as came up earlier in our conversation also, not to feel bad about it. Because if I feel bad about it and judge myself or criticize myself, it becomes, heavy. And then I definitely won't come out of it or find, a good way forward. So for me, it's really about going deeper and finding true motivation and asking myself, why do I live this life? And why do I do what I do? And also just have that conversation with myself that I always have a choice. And power comes when I make a choice with honesty and not doing something just because I should look good or I should fit in, or that doesn't create sustain something that I can sustain from within in the long run. Because sometimes I think it's a fine line between laziness and allowing oneself to be relaxed. And it can be easy to sometimes try to overcome laziness and instead starting to pushing oneself or being a bit forceful or critical. And it can be very subtle. But that actually doesn't help at all. And it just makes, whatever pattern is there continue. So I think it's for me personally at this time, this year, I'm also working a lot with self-compassion and healing in my own self. And so this is what I have learned from that when I define an emotion or when I define or identify, I could say, when I identify an emotion, what it is, and see it for what it is and not something else. And the same when I identify one of the vices in that same way, and I do it, everything will come up. And when we sit in yoga and when we have the highs and the good experiences, of course, other things will come up because it sits there in the soul. So then to be able to embrace that and practice to be neutral about it so that then I can find a way forward and a solution, then I can act differently. But if I criticize myself, then at least personally I feel I can't, because then I block. So I find it very useful to journal and to write down what's going on, because then that creates clarity, and I also see what things are, as I mentioned. And it's also good to ask oneself questions so that I activate my thinking, I activate myself. And then also my experience, because it's good to remind oneself, if I see that carelessness comes or laziness comes, it's good to remind myself of the times when I have done something in the way that I love to, or that I find is constructive. So for example, I know for myself that when I do something in the right way at the right time, that creates a lot of energy and a lot of joy. And then I remind myself that I know that, let's say, for example, I come home after a long day and I'm both, I feel just I need some rest. But then I know that if I have some meditation, if I cook for Baba, then that will give me the right space and energy to continue rather than just dropping everything because I feel a bit tired. So to prioritize right, and but to do it with love, because if I do it with force or criticism, doesn't lead me anywhere. So to really act from a space of love as much as I can. And then I think it sorts itself out. Because when we are motivated from inside, then laziness has no room. I think. Or I mean, also one thing could be just to call somebody and have a conversation with somebody else on the path and just get inspired. It's good to think about different ways how we can. So that I shift myself out of the mode I am in. It's good to be creative and try experimenting with different things in that way. Yeah.
Okay, we have come towards the end of the session where whatever the questions we thought of asking you got completed. But questions explore few things, but instant thought, what click about when you hear about a person shows a different dynamic of personality. Now we are going to play rapid fire round. When we are together as a youth team, we got to play and we will play. So the rules of this rapid fire round is very simple. I have a list of people. They are very familiar in India. I will call out the name and you got to say what you get in your mind quickly when you hear the name. I repeat, I will say out the name of people in the Egya and you need to say what you think for them. Okay, what are them for you? Okay, so the order of number is Brother Dan is number 1, Sister Susanne is number 2, and Sister Pavitra is number 3. Daddy Janki.
Angel.
Powerful.
Powerful. Same.
Sister Jayanti.
A sweetheart.
Lightness.
Loving.
Daddy Gulzar.
Beautiful royalty.
Silence and truth.
Maryada Purushtam.
Daddy Prakashmani.
Love.
Also love.
Self-respect.
Sister Mohini, New York.
Ocean of knowledge.
Creative mind.
Silent.
Sister Sudesh.
Churning the knowledge.
Playful.
The third eye.
Brother Nirvaya.
My friend.
Like a grandfather.
It's like a rose.
Munni Didi.
Who?
Munni Didi. Madhuban.
Like the engine room of Baba's Yagya.
Peaceful.
Humble.
Suraj Bhai.
Baba's yogi child.
I had the same thought, yogi.
Go beyond of everything.
Sister Shivani.
The one who makes everything practical.
Unlimited.
Shiv Shakti and determined.
Mama.
Mama Gyan Sitar.
Sweetness.
Saraswati.
Dada Vishwaratan.
Powerful drishti, angelic hands.
True child of God.
Faithful.
Brother Ken.
Courageous soul.
Singing bird.
All-rounder and creative.
Dadi Ratan Mohini.
Yusmata.
Clear mind.
Pure.
Dadi Chandramani.
Lioness.
Susan?
I have not met her.
That's fine. You say pass.
The same lion heart.
Okay. Sister Jenna.
Who? Sorry, I
Ooh,
don't know.
pass.
Pass.
Authentic.
Okay.
Washington sister.
Yeah, Washington sister.
Okay, cool.
It's fine. Okay. Dadi issue.
It's very sweet.
Incognito.
Very innocent.
Trusty.
Very innocent like a child.
Brother Ramesh.
Very special, Babas. How to say, like a trustee of all Babas things.
Royal.
Yeah, also trusty and golden.
Brother Jagdish.
Sanjay.
Deep.
Sensible.
Brother Bridge Mohan.
Babas cheeky and funny child.
Yeah. Powerful yoga.
Double light.
Brother Charlie.
Babas child with the speciality of relationships.
Kindness.
Sweet like a mommy.
So we had a wonderful time where we could listen a lot from you, we could learn a lot from you, and at last in the session we could think a lot from your end. Thank you all the angels who Baba has sent to Tamil Nadu, to Chennai to empower youth. Thank you Brother Dan, thank you Sister Susanne, thank you Sister Pavitra. We thank the global family for being a partner in empowering our young minds. Thank you. Om Shanti.